recently, people are saying that a famous NBA reporter named Adrian Wojnarowski is helping the Portland Trail Blazers team not trade their star player Damian Lillard. Why isn't Lillard going to the Miami Heat team? Because Woj is only telling one side of the story. The Heat team knows that he is just working for Portland and getting paid by them. It's embarrassing because the Heat are like, yeah, you're just writing stories for Portland. That's not real reporting. That's not real reporting at all. But Dame's fight with Woj goes back many years. He once wrote on Twitter that he wasn't surprised about Woj making a deal with Portland to say bad things about Dame's reputation. But before we look at what Woj said this time, you have to understand how Woj became the most powerful sports reporter in NBA history. Woj partly built his fame by breaking big news stories about the Detroit Pistons basketball team. He had every major story from when Allen Iverson got traded to any fights happening in the team's locker room. But the Pistons became the worst team in the league, and Woj didn't write a single bad story about them. He completely ignored their problems. His only article about them rebuilding had positive things to say about their general manager, Joe Dumars. But it turned out that in 2010, the NBA fined Dumars $500,000 for giving secret information to Woj. They sent Dumars fake numbers in an email. So when those fake numbers showed up in Woj's stories, they knew Dumas was guilty. So the NBA exposed Woj's secret trick to breaking news. He gets information in exchange for writing one-sided stories that help his sources. But they didn't discover his mean side. What happens when someone stops giving Woj information? We expect hot takes from guys like Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith, but Woj has been very opinionated about LeBron James too. He's pushed the false story that LeBron isn't good in important moments. He suggested that LeBron's scared to take the big shot. But it's no coincidence that Woj's reporting about LeBron has been awful. The biggest story in 2010 was which team LeBron was choosing. Free agency. Woj reported that a quarter of all the teams could get him, even Joe Dumars' Pistons, but he finally said the Bulls were the team most likely to get him, with Cleveland second and the Nets in third place. Then a week later, LeBron chose Miami instead. That was so embarrassing for Woj. So he got revenge by calling LeBron selfish and childish. No one could stand James as a 19-year-old in the 2004 Athens Olympics. Officials feared James could become the troublemaker of everything they wanted to get rid of. Behind the scenes, officials had started calling James's close friends the enablers. No one ever told him to grow up. Damn, that is what you get when you cross Adrian Wojnarowski. But when people play his game, it works great. So great that Woj separated himself in the NBA reporting game. His biggest rival used to be ESPN's Mark Stein. But in 2017, ESPN hired Woj and fired Stein. Eventually, they gave Woj a $35 million contract. $35 million for a company that is laying off big-name employees to save money. That is how powerful Woj has become. But it was most obvious with the Kevin Durant situation last year. KD demanded a trade unless the general manager Sean Marks and coach Steve Nash were fired. Obviously, the biggest story in sports. Unless you watched ESPN, they were silent on TV and social media for 6 hours because Woj was protecting his friend Sean Marks. Finally, after the Nets owner tweeted about it, ESPN ran a boring headline: Psy voices support for front office. The first word should be Kevin Durant demands a trade. Woj protected Sean Marks again with the whole James Harden drama too. But how did Dame become Woj's enemy? The most trusted source for Dame news is a reporter named Chris Haynes. He got his start in Portland writing about the Blazers for free. He had 3 kids at the time, so he had to work as a security guard at a high school. But in 2011, the Blazers TV station wanted to hire a reporter full-time, and Haynes got the job. Dame was drafted the next season, and their careers grew together. They formed a friendship over their hard work, and coming from a similar background, Dame even told Haynes to get out of Portland to get a big national job. He finally got that big major job and is the #1 source for Dame news. But shutting out Woj has a price. Back when Dame was negotiating for a max contract, Woj wrote, "The prospects of Portland extending to a $55 million at 36 years old threatens to turn an asset of a contract into an albatross." Okay? Not only is it bad that Woj is including negative words like albatross, but when Dame demanded out of Portland, Woj said while Damian Lillard prefers Miami, Portland needs maximum value in a trade. Which one is it? Is his big contract an albatross, or is he good enough to get maximum value? I mean, when a contract is bad like John Wall or Russell Westbrook, a team needs to pay people to take the deal. I thought Dame's contract was an albatross. Or is Woj just saying whatever the Blazers front office wants him to say at the time? When they don't want to pay Dame, you call it overpaid, but when they want to trade him, oh, now he's a superstar. But Woj will just write about one thing. Portland does not want Tyler Hero, and they don't have to deal Dame. They can hold out for a better offer. Woj also dislikes Dame's agent named Aaron Goodwin, who refuses to give information to Woj. So Woj wrote, Goodwin is telling organizations outside of Miami that trading for Lillard is trading for an unhappy player. As interference goes, this is a time-honored agent trick to lower offers and clear a path to a predetermined destination. What is strange is Woj revealing the tricks of an agent, which he normally doesn't do. But if Goodwin was helping out Woj, he would have never revealed this. Instead, Woj is getting info from the Blazers, so he writes a story to help them, but it makes sense that Dame would be annoyed with how Woj is reporting. He could have said, Tyler Hero is the best available offer, or there's no serious offers outside of the Miami Heat. Instead, his articles feel extremely one-sided, exposing him to Dame and Miami Heat fans. But this is how NBA reporting is done now. Woj is right. Men used to be Shams. They worked together at Yahoo, and Woj taught Shams everything he knows. But Shams's biggest source is Clutch Sports. And sometimes Shams's reporting sounds like it's coming from LeBron and Clutch. When Russell Westbrook was traded to the Jazz, who bought him out, Shams reported there is not a spot in the NBA for Westbrook. But later that day, Woj said Russ was speaking with the Bulls, Clippers, Wizards, and Heat. Now later, Shams said, oh, he might talk to the Clippers. But why make Russ look bad? Because the more it looks like he was to blame for the Lakers' mess, the better it looks for LeBron and AD, two massive Clutch clients. You never know who to trust these days in NBA reporting. Shams and Woj rose to the top by playing a dirty game with sources. But now it is up to fans to know when they are spinning the truth and who they're protecting. Another media story is what's happening right now with Cooper Flag. The media is already saying the 16-year-old is going to change the NBA. This has gone wrong in the past with guys like Imoni Bates. But is the media wrong this time with Cooper? Check it out.